This is Mario Host, and today we are going to be talking about the Little Prince, the new champion that just came out. So last season, I was able to push to 1,724 trophies. On the last day, I was able to gain 300 trophies. I went from 14, 20, 5 to 17 or 24. So if you're looking to push, the last day towards the night is the best way to push trophies. I got close to my PB, my best season, which is 1927. I didn't play a lot of Path of Legends last season, just because I didn't have a lot of time to do it. But this season with the Little Prince, it seems to be this is the deck I'm running. I'm still running Evolution Knight. I'm using Pekka. I'm using Bandit, Zap, Fireball, Dark Prince. The Little Prince instead of Magic Archer, and also Electric Wizard. And this deck has been very good. It's good against Log Bait, it's good against 2.6, it's good against the Minor deck. So it's good against all the decks that Pekka usually struggle against. It's amazing against Mega Knight Bait. And yeah, let's just look at some replays and you can see for yourself. The first replay we're going to watch is going to be against this Hog deck. Now, with this Hog version, he's running Mini Pekka, Ice Golem, and Archers. And usually I have a very hard time against this deck just because it cycles really fast. The Ice Golem, kites the Pekka, and then the Pekka just dies because it doesn't really have a lot of support units, because usually you could kill the support units. But with the Little Prince, in my opinion, is extremely strong. I do think it's balanced compared to some of the other cards that we've seen. I haven't had any issues fighting against the Little Prince, and I mean, the ability of the Little Prince is just awesome. But even with the ability and stuff, he's able to defend just fine. Like, if it was overpowered, I would have taken the tower. And, just like the rest of the overpowered units when they first came out, like Firecracker, Evolution Knight, Evolution Barbs, and Evolution RG. They instantly took towers out because they were overpowered. But Little Prince, in my opinion, is balanced. He is very effective and very strong because it's 3 mana to get a guy that attacks air, and he attacks faster. He's kind of like a mini Expo. But he's also very easy to kill. Log, Earthquake kills him. Now, it does take a little bit more mana to kill him, but I mean, Hog Rider, you gotta commit at least 6 mana to defend a Hog Rider, even with ability. So it's not like those not other units that aren't overpowered. It gives the Pekka deck an elixir advantage now when you play it and they have to counter it. Luckily, I was able to get the ability out just in time. But as you can see, I mean, it's still this Hog deck. I still have to outplay him just because I'm using Little Prince. It's not an automatic win. I still have to play it correctly. I still have to use my elixir efficiently. So yeah, I mean, with this deck, it has a lot of tanks now. It has the tank from the Little Prince, and the thing about the tank, I thought he was going to be stronger than what he is, and I think he's pretty balanced as well, because a regular knight will defend a Little Prince. A Valkyrie defends a Little Prince. Dark Prince defends a Little Prince, even with his ability being used. There's a lot of cards in the game that still counter Little Prince without it being a negative elixir trade. Like I said, a Valkyrie will completely shut down the Little Prince and his ability with the right placement. And so, as you can see, I'm losing this game. He's able to outdamage both of my towers. He has the advantage lead. Look at that, he has Log Fireball ready to counter my Little Prince. Luckily, I was able to get the ability out. But like I said, with this deck has a lot of good support units. That's what makes it really good. Even with him counting my Little Prince. And I was able to get a really good push in overtime to get the victory, while he was able to chip down my towers. And so yeah. So that was the first game. Let's watch it against this Goblin giant deck. Um, Now, granted, these players aren't very good just because it's a new season and I'm building up. These players probably finish in like Royal Champion, and so we'll see how good the Little Prince is once I get to Royal Champion, Grand Champion, and push to Ultimate Champion, because that's when you're finding people early on who finish ranked and they finish, they're really good players. So we'll see if the Little Prince is even reliable. But even right there, he's able to counter my Little Prince, and my Pekka is just kind of by itself. But now it gives you the ability to dual lane push, because the Pekka, look at the Pekka is still pretty easily defended. I mean, the Pekka gets one hit, and all he did was play Bowler or Knight, and that's it. And then Pekka gets one hit. So, I mean, the fact that the Pekka is going to be resurrected because the Little Prince is just a really good support unit, I like it. I think, in my opinion, I think the Little Prince is balanced. Again, when I fight against the Little Prince, I don't have an issue with it. I know how to counter Little Prince with my Knight, with my Dark Prince, even with my Little Prince. The Little Prince counters the Little Prince, and I have Pekka, so the Pekka counters Little Prince as well. And so yeah. So I play the Pekka in the back. I was able to go ahead and I'm going to be able to defend this push. He does get pretty good damage on it. Now, before I had a Little Prince, before Little Prince came out, this deck that I'm fighting, it usually counters my deck. It's really hard to fight Goblin King Bowler. Even like the Goblin King Bowler, I mean, even the, what's that card called? Electro Giant Bowler, that deck's really hard, even with Pekka. Just because the support units of Pekka, they just, go, especially Pekka Burst Bram, Bram's not very good, Ghost isn't very good against, like, Electro Giant, because it just kills itself, and so, this is more of a Pekka beatdown deck. I haven't really played a Little Prince and Pekka Burst Bram specifically, but in Pekka beatdown, it's extremely good. I also haven't tried using Little Prince in my Golem deck, but I think it's, even in Golem, Little Prince is going to be pretty good. I fought in a couple Golem decks and it was a pretty tough fight, but I was able to beat him still. So yeah, I actually do like the Little Prince. I think he's a good champion. I think he's fun. I think his Knight ability is really cool. Like look at this. Like the Knight, the tank's almost dead pretty much. All he had to do was play one of the unit with the Knight, and he would have defended the Little Prince push. So these are just some things to take into consideration. If he would have placed his Knight after the ability came through and he placed it on top of the Little Prince, the Knight would have been fine. So that's why I'm saying that the Little Prince actually does take skill to use and to counter. Because like I said, when I fight Little Prince, I can stop it with just a Knight. So now this is against an Expo deck, and I was kind of interested because with the Archers getting evolution, which I do like the Archer evolution. I think the Archer evolution is pretty cool. It's gonna make Expo pretty good, and he's using the Little Prince as well. Now I assumed I was fighting an Expo deck, but see, ooh, there he goes, and he defends the Pekka with his Little Prince. And this is what I'm saying, like I had a full life Pekka, and a full life Little Prince thing, and Tesla and Little Prince ability stopped it. So, I mean, there you go. Like, that's why I think it's balanced, because if it was over P, my Little Prince and Pekka would have just walked right through his Little Prince and his Little Prince thing. But he played a pretty good ability to where it knocked back the Pekka enough and did enough damage to where the Pekka dies, and he placed the Tesla in a spot to where it cleaned up. And so yeah. So that was a bad placement that I did. I put the Little Prince right into the lock. So, but I was able to get a good ability. I was able to, that was pretty clean. And this is what I'm saying, like when you use his ability, he stops attacking, it resets his attack, which I think is good. I think that's how it should be. I probably could have just left the ability and the Little Prince, because he was attacking full speed, would have been fine. But this is me testing and playing with the Little Prince, but it's pretty cool that I was able to do his ability and kind of predict the goblins, and so that was really cool. And so I have a huge lead right now because I was able to take that tower. And right now it's just defense, and I didn't have my Pekka up, so I just have to, you know, play play this right because he can still win. It's double elixir. We both have the little prince, and he's in a position to where he could come back. And so, luckily, I was able to get the Pekka down just in time to defend the Expo, so that the Expo didn't lock on to my tower. And this is pretty good. Right now we have pretty even elixir trades, and this is because I was able to fireball his pumps exactly at the right time on 2 times elixir so that he couldn't get in elixir advantage. Now that was a kind of an aggressive fire. It was a bad fireball because if I would have waited a little bit longer, I could have fireballed his Expo. I mean, his ability is so clean to kill spam units. I'm finally happy that we have a unit that can support a Pekka deck that can kill spam units with the injury. He's kind of like a Mega Knight, a mini Mega Knight. So, the sky he comes from in front of you, so that's the perfect way to view him as like a Mega Knight. And so this is against a Royal Recruits Evolution deck with Little Prince, and so. This was a tough matchup, especially in single elixir as well. And so, let's just take a look at Royal Recruit's player. But yeah, I think Little Prince is cool. I'm happy that they added him. I'm happy that they did archers as well. I think evolution archers are pretty balanced. I don't think they're overpowered. I don't think they're underpowered. I think they're just right. Now, the one thing that I would say is kind of overpowered is the pushback. The pushback's kind of a lot. So if Little Prince would be to get nerfed, I wouldn't nerf his damage. I wouldn't nerf the damage of the knight or nerf the HP of the units. I would nerf the knockback of the knight coming in when you do his ability. Another thing you gotta think of is people might actually use the monk now, because if you do the Little Prince ability into a monk, you get a free knight. And so that's where it could kind of come into play, and I think we're gonna see a lot more monk play now as well, because the monk would counter Little Prince. You know, the monk does his ability, the Little Prince kills himself, and then the Little Prince can't do his ability because it'll get used against him. And so there's a lot of cards out there that aren't being used that are going to start to get used as well to counter the Little Prince. And there's things out there that I think it's just fine. Like I said, if anything that needs to be nerfed is just the knockback on when the Little Prince uses his ability, just because the knockback is kind of insane. That would have been cool if I did his ability right when he played Hogs. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, his knight's on my tower with his Little Prince attacking the tower. I just play Bandit and she cleans everything up. If it was overpowered, he would have taken my tower. The only reason why I took his tower is because he played Hogs, right? He played Hogs, and Hogs don't attack units, so. Now, this is the perfect setup he has, and he just kind of misplaces Zappies, because the Zappies go in front of his Royal Recruits. I play my Pekka, and this is when I knew that I was in a pretty good position. And honestly, if he just played a little bit differently, he could have probably won. And this is, I still like Evolution Knight, even though Evolution Knight did get a nerf, he's still really reliable, because it makes the split pushing a lot stronger. The reason why I took out Batter Ram was because I think Dark Prince is better than a Batter. He gave up, so yeah. I think Dark Prince is stronger in this version with the Little Prince than Batter Ram. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, these games are just flying through these ranks right now with the Little Prince. But I'm going to be showing you a lot more gameplay. Like I said, I have my Golem deck that I haven't tested out with the Little Prince. I just took out Night Witch instead of and put in the Little Prince. And then I got Pekka Bird Spam, which I haven't really tested out yet. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this is just kind of like a teaser video. It's just because the Little Prince just came out. I'm hoping to push into the higher leagues and start fighting people who were ranked last season to see if the Little Prince is still alive. But it looks like the Pekka might get a huge resurrection with the Little Prince. And this is what Pekka players have been waiting for. Pekka's been dead for so long. And I think it's funny that now that Pekka may have a comeback to beat these cycle decks, people are complaining that this card is too strong just because it made a completely dead deck, a completely dead card Pekka, make it reliable. If you guys look at the top 10 or the top 50 decks, you don't see a single Pekka deck in Path of the Legends and ranked in like the top 50 just because Pekka's so trash. So as a Pekka player, I'm very excited, especially because the Little Prince came out just in time for the 20 win challenge. I'm going to be trying to grind another badge. The last time I got a badge was in 2018. I got really close in 2020 when they came out with the 20 win badge. I got like 15, 16, a lot, but I just couldn't clutch the 17 through the 20 on the last time, just because Pekka was in a really bad state. You had the Archer Queen Piggy deck dominating the battlefield, and Pekka's been in a bad state for like 3 years. So I'm excited to see a card that's going to revive Pekka decks. Let's go. Thank you, Super Seal.